Welcome to Talking with Kevin Son, where truth meets real. We talk life, love, and purpose.
Welcome to another edition of Talking Wit Kevin and Son. Hi, my name is Kevin McLemore. I am your show host, an award-winning author, mentor, coach, mindset messenger, as some of my friends will call me. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network, where through the power of your story, our mission is to uplift the power in your voice, inspire, share stories and experiences and perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. Our purpose is very simple, folks. We want to create hope, H.O.P.E, helping other people every single day. Today's podcast is brought to you by The Borough, located at 149 East Lancaster Avenue in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Now, if you want good vibes, good food, three-fours of fun, then I will tell you, go visit my good friends TJ and Keith, and also my son, the executive chef there, Theo McLemore, which was my original co-host. That's the reason why we got podcasts called Kevin and Son. And just tell them Kevin sent you from the podcast. All right. So let's get down to the business. All right. My guest today is the CEO of LevelUp Luxe, creative technologist, brand architect, and AI innovator. She leads the future in AI driven branding and cinematic um, technology. AI twins, we'll ask her what that is, automated content um, for systems transforming storytelling. She is also the senior information security program manager for GRC leaders, spiritual mentor, as well as a multiple empowerment podcast, I guess, guest or host or podcaster. Her mission is pretty much in line with mine. She wants to help people get into their highest expression and clarity, build confidence and creativity. All right, so today we are going to be talking about how to level up Lux and amplify your brand with AI. Let me welcome to the show my guest and soon to be one of my best friends, Miss Denise McMillan. I wanted to make her a Mac, but she's a McMillan. All right.
McMillan, but you did it. You got it first try.
I didn't think I was going to get it, believe it or not. How
Well,
are you
thank
doing
you.
today?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and the excellent intro. Yep, my name is Denise, and I'm the CEO of LevelUp Lex. LevelUp Lux, which is a organization that helps you to amplify your voice using AI.
All right. Well, we are going through a lot. There's mixed messages as far as AI a good thing, AI a bad thing. San Francisco just lost power, and many of their AI-driven cars were all stranded on the road. So we'll talk about that. But first, explain to us, give us a little background on you before you got into AI. I hear rumor that you're from my part of the world, New Jersey, and now you're held in Washington, D.C., married, kids, dogs,
Right.
cats, whatever. Tell
So,
us a little bit of your story.
sure, sure. You're correct. I was born in New Jersey, raised in the DMV area, did a short stint in the South, Georgia and Florida, which I absolutely loved. I'm hoping to get back there soon. Um, by day, I am what's my actual title? I'm a technical programs manager. So I manage technical programs in the cybersecurity and the governance, risk, and compliance space specifically. So that's helping organizations get different certifications that they're looking for, maybe to do business with the government, and just to be able to prove to the outside that we're following the highest cybersecurity standards. Your information is protected with us. We're doing everything we can to stay ahead of breaches and any sort of data loss. So that's what I do by day. I've also created a company called LevelUp Luxe. And with LevelUp Luxe, I help organizations with their branding and their marketing and just to be able to amplify their voice and amplify what they're saying and getting their word and their messages out utilizing AI. Success in business, especially in this very social media age, is about awareness and attention. So if you can generate awareness to your brand and you can get attention and eyes on your brand, you can be successful. And that's what I help organizations to do.
But that seems to be the hardest point because right now in the marketplace, I just had a conversation with a couple of friends the other day. I said, going in to 2026, I'm predicting that majority of people such as yourself, it may not be you, the thought leaders that are in this space, we're going to start to become unplugged. We're going to start doing, having more conversations, one-on-one versus text, emoji, or emails are kind of gone out of the way, just for the simple fact that technology is now dictating our life. We've got people that can't go and get fit, work out in the gym without sitting there 20 minutes scrolling through the social media. I watched a guy miss 3 steps walking down the steps because, he was looking at his phone trying to do TikTok or something like that. So when we talk about leveling up and amplifying your brand, exactly what does that mean to the everyday person?
So, what that means to the everyday person is whatever your goal is, whatever it is that is important to you, your passion project, what you wish to share with the world, we want to put that into a what are those little things called? A loud mic and amplify it. We want to be able to share it with other people in such a way that you can concentrate on what it is, your product, your business, your service, and the marketing and the attention, the awareness comes to you.
How do you create that space when the marketplace is so um, cluttered with mixed information regarding AI? There's a fear factor to it, and some people have embraced. You've got 20 different people teaching 25 different versions of how AI can market, so no one knows the answer. I mean, I will tell you, I'm not a tech guy. And even the people that I work with that are tech people are now getting confused because there's always one a little bit better than the other. There's another one that falls short on it. So when you talk about taking advantage and using AI to scale up your voice, your vision, and your visibility, talk to me as to and walk me through the steps. If I was a layman person, Tony, I had no idea what to do because I've got, let's say I have 10,000 people that already follow me and subscribe.
Mhm.
Biggest thing in this business, I know people that's got a 500,000 people on TikTok following, but they can't convert 2 seconds of those into a business. How do
Right.
we make that work?
Right. So, that's an interesting thing, right? Social media, you've got people's attention, but you can't turn that attention into income or into a plan. So the reason that there are so many different options and so many different ways to learn AI or market AI is because people are doing exactly what works best for them. Uh, I'll take an image generator, for example. There are 1,000, more than 1,000 AI image generators out there. However, there are different people who like different things. So one person may know this one produces more sci-fi geared images. This one produces more corporate images. This one produces more model images, maybe for fitness or for beauty. So where it becomes difficult for people who don't know AI is that you're taking advice or courses from people who may have a completely different interest or a different lane from you. That's why, in my opinion, I recommend having an agency that specializes in what it is that you want to produce, what you want to share with the world. And 9 times out of 10, those agencies will also have the ability to show you, hey, and this is what we did, this is how we did it. And then you can learn from that. You can say, okay, these are, for example, Gemini videos. So I know if I go to Gemini, I could potentially create something in this same vein. So
Okay.
that's where it becomes difficult. Trying to learn how to do AI from not how to do AI, but how to utilize the tool AI and the different tools that go along with it. Being able to build a whole brand environment and ecosystem is not about the person who can use AI. It's about the person who knows how to intermingle the tools to come up with the results that are needed. It's not using the AI is the easy part. It's putting the puzzle pieces together that is where it gets a little bit trickier.
All right. We talk about as entrepreneurs, being true to who you are, being authentic. Now, I will tell you, and people in your social circle that we have connected with, I do not like being the center of attention, and people tell me that I have to do that. How do you protect your digital identity and be an authentic storyteller using AI?
Okay, so that's going to be two different questions. So I'm going to answer them separately. How do you protect your digital identity? Right now, those guardrails are not necessarily in place. That's a big issue that we have with AI right now. People can take your image and they can do quite a few different things to them and cause issues. We have seen some court cases, we have seen litigation surrounding the same, but those guardrails are not quite in place yet. And that's an interesting space for me being a governance risk and compliance executive because I know those guardrails aren't in place. So I am on a few teams and boards to try to figure out how to get them in place, but it's just not as cut and dry as we would want it to be. Um, the second part to the question, I actually don't remember it because I started answering the first one.
Well, let me go back and to our listeners. Let me explain to you why I asked, how do you protect your digital identity? When you and I first met, I always do an icebreaker Zoom call with all my guests because I don't like interviewing strangers. But I had been approached and had interviewed a young lady that spent 25 minutes talking to me, and within before the half hour was over, she goes, "Can I ask you a question? Can you tell if I am a real person or AI generated person?" And my response was, if you're AI, don't ever call me again because I only want to talk to people. But when she went to explain to me, and she has some very big name clients, she said basically the reason why I set it up this way is because you have multi levels of business avenues that you can be generating income. Said I can have you sitting on the beach someplace in Florida, drinking a Mai Tai and having your sand in the feet and the shore coming to your ankles. At the same time, I can have your AI generated image doing a live presentation on a Zoom account, do a coaching seminar one-on-one with someone online, or showing a whole presentation that you're doing live and stream it live on your social media, all while you're sitting on the beach in your bathing suit. And she says, I can do that for you. And it made me um, skeptical as far as the power of AI. And when I asked you to confirm this, and you want to tell the audience what you said to me?
Um, I said absolutely, and then I created a video and sent it to you of you giving a presentation.
Yes, you did. And it was funny as crap because I wasn't prepared to see myself and hear my voice and everything else. So the second part of this is that how do we know when we are talking to someone that it is actually that person and the person's delivering us an authentic story?
We don't. Right now, we don't. We don't know if it's an AI version of the person or if it's the actual person. These twins, these deep fakes, they are so advanced now. I could be an AI person talking to you right now. This is kind of what kind of what I said the other day. All I do is I would load what I want to talk about into an agent. I have my own image, I have a video, and then I have my voice, and I can answer your questions and I can talk to you. I can share heartfelt stories. The people who work in AI on a consistent basis, we kind of notice the nuances of what is being said and how it's being said. I can turn on a video and say, "Oh yeah, that's an AI video." I can tell almost right away now. And it's the same with writing, it's the same with posts. You'll see people type these long think posts, and I get two or three sentences in, and I'm like, oh, that's AI. But those are things that only come because I work inside of it on a regular basis. Before, when I wasn't working on it and seeing how it responded and, how it typed, how it wrote, I wouldn't have been able to tell.
Right. All right. So that's interesting. So is it possible to copyright or brand our DNA? Is that the only way that we could make sure that we are who we are?
That's where we're headed, isn't it? So if you're having a
Yeah.
personal conversation with somebody, asking them a personal, question, of course, that only you and them would know the answer to, is going to let you know if you're speaking to them or you're speaking to a representative of them. But beyond that, when you're dealing with, coaches and teachers and people who you don't necessarily know personally, it would be very difficult to distinguish.
Right. So I mean, this is just in my head. Are we getting away from human interaction and building brands, buying product, selling services, or even getting advice? Are we getting away from that part in the show when, I talk about experiences and perspectives and talk about building a framework where we're teaching and learning and modeling? Is AI going to stop us from doing all that?
I don't think AI is going to stop us from doing it. If you have an AI account, ChatGPT or Gemini or any of them, your AI account is going to mirror a lot of what you put into it. Mine does the same. So even if I use my AI, my, personal ecosystem to create a video or a story, it is actually pulling from the things that we've discussed, our background, my background with them, and coming up with something that's going to sound like me, that's going to um, have the same nuances or the things that I say. It's going to have all of those things ingrained into it because it's mirroring who I am and what me and that particular LLM have been discussing. So
All right.
we are getting away from the personalized and the one-on-one, but we've been doing that for a long time with the invention and the popularity of social media. We've been getting away from the one-on-one and the more personal relationships, but this does seem like it would be a step further in that same direction. Absolutely. But I
All
don't know
right.
that that's a bad thing. It's a pivot, right? Things change, we do things differently. I don't consider that to necessarily be a bad thing. It's definitely a different thing. And a lot of times people are uncomfortable with change, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a negative. It's just is.
Well, and that's the biggest part. I'm glad you brought up change, because the first thing I was going to say, it is hard for people to accept change, and we've got people that thinks or believes. I don't know if this is to be fact or not. You're the expert here. Is that AI is going to put the everyday person, our common day laborer, out of work, and we're going to ultimately end up in a Wall-E situation, or we're going to have computers. Taking over the world where human beings are just going to be people that can only garden and I mean, matter of fact, we can't even deliver our mail nowadays because AI is actually delivering it by air and everything else.
Mhm.
Um, so what happens to the everyday person? Who is AI for?
It's for everybody. It's absolutely for everybody. It does require a level of understanding because you can speak with your AI and people have gotten very close to their AI, but you have to have that awareness that it's still at the end of the day a system. It's still a computer. It's not perfect and it hallucinates and it doesn't have all of the proper um, safety measures in place right now. It is something that is being developed. It's not perfect. However, for people and moving forward in jobs, that's definitely a concern. It's definitely a concern that I can set up an agent right now to answer calls. If I can set up an agent to answer calls, why do I need to hire customer service representatives? Um, and as AI gets better and better and more advanced, there's going to be more positions that it can fill. But do you know the people who will still have jobs are going to be the people who know how to manage that AI? It's going to be the people who know how to see what's going on underneath the hood and fix it and make changes. And that's all, in that same kind of tech industry, which I'm a big fan of for people because it's always going to change. There's always going to be something new. There's always going to be somewhere that you can grow and go into in cybersecurity. But yeah, people are very afraid of change. And I think that people need to get a lot more comfortable with change. They need to get a lot more comfortable with pivoting. They need to be able to look at the situation and say, hey, I'm a customer service rep, and that's something that may be replaced by AI here shortly. So let me take the proactive step and say, okay, let me take a class or learn another skill set so that I'm not one of the people left without a job.
All right. Before we get real deep into it, I know for my listeners that, here goes Kevin McLemore. I'm setting up doom and gloom on AI. And I'm not trying to trash AI, but I'm asking the questions that most people would ask when this topic is concerned. There are a lot of positive benefits to AI, and we will address this. But first, I want to go to Miss Denise McMillan, and ask her if someone wanted to reach out to her through her social media, or email, or a direct number, or if she has a book that's coming out, or she does workshops. I want Ms. McMillan to go ahead and share that information. And for those of you, I'm giving you a little chance to get a pen and paper in hand. And if you don't mind, DMAC, um, see, in my neighborhood, when someone embraces you, they give you a nickname. All right.
Right.
See, and that just popped up naturally. So, Denise, how do
Yeah.
people get in touch with you?
Sure. So my website is www.levelupluxe. That's LevelUpluxe.net. You can contact me there. You can also contact me at my personal website, which is my name, www.denisealina.com. Facebook is my name, Denise Alina. I have quite a few followers on my social media, so I don't really recommend trying to use those for business because I don't pay too much attention to the inboxes and the DMs. I also have TikTok, and then I'm also, I think we discussed this shortly before, I'm the host of a podcast called Escaping Religion. And that podcast is anywhere you find podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, anywhere you find it, I'm there as well as on YouTube. And that's Escaping Religion.
All right, escaping religion. All right, so let's do something a little positive because I know I'm scared of living crap out of everyone, and everyone's running around going, "I'm so afraid of AI and whatever." But there's a lot of positive benefits. Managing multiple brands with AI, where do you start? Because you know, I believe, and I'm open to change, not afraid of it. Is that normally if you're trying to multitask, there's something that you're falling short on it. But AI corrects me on that, and you feel free to do that. How do you do this? And you could use me as an example or anybody else managing multiple brands without AI.
Automate, automate, automate. That means take any of your repeatable systems and you can do it yourself, or you can have somebody like me do it and you create an automation. So, for example, if you need to come up with a blog post every week for three different brands, you automate them. If you have a business brand, you set up an AI that will go and look at the current news, current business news, summarize it, and create a blog post. And that blog post will be branded for your industry, for your brand. And then from that point, you can also set it up to automatically post it. So now you've taken what is a manual at least 4 hour process that will run on its own in 35 seconds to a minute. You can do the same thing with videos. If you need to create regular videos of yourself delivering a message, you kind of put those standards in there. This is the desk that I'm sitting at. This is what I'm wearing. This is what I look like. This is what I'm saying. And you can do that over and over again. You can generate, 30, 40 videos in a matter of minutes that you can then automatically post as well. Even in responding to people who comment on your videos or like your videos or follow you, you can have all of that in one dashboard. So instead of having to log into each social media account separately and respond to those things, you can respond to them all at one time. And you can have somebody set all of that up for you so that it's plug and play, so that now you can just sit down and say, okay, your management of your businesses is not going to take you 6, 7 hours. It's going to take you less than an hour to go in and look at everything, make sure the videos that you asked to be posted were posted, they're correct, review comments. Go in and make your own comments on a couple of other posts for your own, for the algorithm and for awareness of your company. You can just automate so many different things right now that you can manage multiple brands like that a lot more effectively than we could in the past.
And how do you um, is it possible for AI to experience what humans have to be overwhelmed or experience burnout? Because I do know AI doesn't need a day off, doesn't need vacation pay, doesn't need health insurance, doesn't have to deal with family issues, funerals, or birthday events or whatever. AI will work 24 hours. Does scaling up in this business, will AI burn out before you, or will AI prevent you from burning out?
AI is going to prevent you from burning out. It's just been, for me personally, it's just been a lifesaver in so many areas. I can You can log in on just January 1st and you can schedule everything out for the entire month. And if you want to schedule out further, you can, but you can be done with everything concerning your business's branding, amplifying your voice, bringing awareness to your company in a matter of moments. And nope, AI doesn't take any days off. Never gotten a sick call from mine. Actually, I guess I have. There have been times that it's been down, like there's been a Cloudflare outage or something like that. I guess we could consider that to be a sick call, but in general, no, it doesn't burn out, and it doesn't even forget what you've said before. If you set your Chat GPT or Gemini, whatever you're using, Claude, if you set it up correctly, it will remember what you all have talked about in the past and build upon that, essentially building upon your brand.
Yeah. You opened the door because I cannot figure out, and we had this conversation before we began the intro for this podcast. I don't use AI, but
Okay.
every single time I have a conversation with someone, including you, I start getting links or being positioned in order to use AI. It's just like my co-pilot. Even, I'm sitting here thinking I learned how to, well, maybe I did use AI. I'm going to go back up because I went through Google to teach me how to write lyrics to songs.
Mhm.
So when you open up an app, or is my co-pilot training itself to go ahead and be my AI assistant without me giving permission or whatever? Is the big brother watching me? How does that work?
Well, one, Big Brother's absolutely been watching us for a long time at this point, right? But Copilot is an AI. Copilot is a AI application. So if you're using Copilot to ask it questions, you're building on its memory bank of you to for discussion. So yep, Copilot is an AI. So you have used it before. That's great. You're not a beginner, right?
No, I used Google, but
Mhm.
Copilot is always suggesting I do this and so forth. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
afraid because I'm thinking as soon as I click on something, someone's gonna, my firewall is gonna go down and I'm gonna get bugs and whatever because I've been hacked before.
Mhm.
So and th that's kind of been my reason. How do you get people to overcome that fear, and who do you trust? Who can you trust?
So for me personally, I do a beginner's class. So people who are interested in AI, it's like, okay, hey, sign up for my class. Let's take a look at it. Let's set up a custom AI for you. Let's set you up with one that, speaks. Say, I have an uncle who's a pastor and he likes to have sermons created. And there's times he'll, oh, I was thinking about this Bible verse. So we set him up with a GPT that he can enter that Bible verse and it'll create a whole sermon around it. And then it'll say, hey, is this what you wanted to talk about? Or did you want to concentrate on this area, or did you want to look at, what it meant in its original versions? Does this work? 9 times out of 10, though, he's happy with what it's created, and that's what he builds his sermon off of. There's an entire sermon built there, and then when he talks, he just kind of, utilizes that as his base. I've seen people who go into technical interviews. Maybe they're extremely technical, but they don't memorize everything, and they'll have an AI running in the side of the interview, a video interview, that will say, this is what this acronym means, or this is what that acronym means. And this is probably the best way to answer the question. So we see AI being put to use for so many different reasons and so many different use cases, excuse me, that I don't think that it's going to be something that is going to be easy for people in a year or two to say, hey, I'm not using AI because I don't trust it. It's being integrated into our everyday lives in so many different areas, even areas that we don't notice. For example, if you go onto Google and you type in a search, the first response you get now is actually AI generated. Before, we used to get websites and information. The first response you get now when you do a Google search for something is AI generated. And so yes, they are listening. When we're talking about certain things on the phone, they talk about how Taylor Swift would go to her boyfriend's phone and she would talk into it and say engagement rings, so that he would start to get, pictures and marketing and information for engagement rings, and that he proposed to her shortly after that. Our devices do hear what we're saying. They do hear what we're talking about. They can see what it is that we're texting about. They can see what we're entering into search engines, and they use all of that data all together to be able to do targeted marketing and targeted advertising.
Well, I'm enjoying the living crap out of this interview, if I can say that, and it's probably not podcast host etiquette saying living crap. But I do want to say is that maybe you could help my son and his friends. They are one of my featured sponsors on this podcast today. It's called The Burrow, located at 149 East Lancaster Avenue. And when I tell you to go there for some good food, some drinks, feel the vibe, it's all located at Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Hit TJ or Keith up, or if you want to, meet the executive chef, which happens to be my baby boy, Theo McLemore, doing good stuff. Maybe we can do something and add their video in because it's great food, 3 floors of nothing but fun. Um, we talked about this earlier off camera, my music.
Mhm.
I wrote a beautiful Christmas song, which I think, well, I'm not going to say a thing, I killed it. It's not Christmas until you put up the tree. I'm huge in Czechoslovakia, which I'm surprised. It's an English song in Czechoslovakia, and in the U.S., no one's really kind of listened to it. We're still listening to um, Mariah Carey and
It's
George
time.
Michael. Yeah,
Right.
Mariah Carey's making $6 million on a song every December on a song she sung 25 years ago. I'd like to get into that market. How would AI help put my Christmas song in that listening venue, the two big names for the holiday, Last Christmas and whatever Mariah Carey sings. I can't even remember the song. I just know
Yeah.
everyone hates it. I don't know why.
So think about what's being done with those two songs right now. Right now, what is big, what is gaining the most attention and awareness right now is social media. So there's a billion videos on TikTok, and they're using that Mariah Carey song as its background. They use a clip of it. Same with majority of holiday carols right now. The most that they are getting used and rewatched, they become trending audio. And then people say, "Oh, what song is that?" And then they go to Spotify, they go to their YouTube music and they type it in. Because when you sample those clips for your videos to create engagement and awareness, the title of the song and the author is included in that post in order to give them, give them their rights. So you create a little short original audio and a funny video or something that goes along with it. And then once other people start to pick up and they start to do it and they start to copy and they do the same thing or they do their version of it, the audio becomes trending and then it kind of picks up and it's a snowball effect from there.
All right. It sounds like, well, one, we need to get people to log into your course to learn the very basics. So this is going to be a embarrassing plug for you. I'm not going to ask you the price because if you have to ask the price of something, you're not ready in order to get the education. I'm going on the way that Bentley and other high-end cars work because I'm sure you're affordable, especially in the very beginning. So again, how do people get in touch with you?
Sure. So if you would like to take the basics of AI course, you just go to my website, www.leveluplux.net. What I will do is I will add a banner on there for the course and even offer a 10% discount, maybe 15% off for any of the listeners of your show.
Right. All
Let me
right.
make note of that so I don't forget.
All right. Well, you just put it out there. We're recording it,
Right.
so we're going to put it out there, and we're going to hold you accountable to it.
Right.
How, everyone talks about branding. I know when I first started my podcast, everyone wanted to know who my audience was. Well, I spent 15 years marketing product to QVC, and I remember when they started out, you don't know exactly who you're marketing to until someone comes up and buys your product, and then someone repeats that and tells that story over and over again. That's your audience, the customer that is buying your product, your services. So the people that um, you're going to be marketing your product to, it could be 18, it could be 65, it could be 75, someone that's out of retirement that wants to get back in the game or whatever, the person that respects and understands your brand. Big question is, all right, like I said, 15 years of servicing product to QVC. How do you make a brand or your product or services unforgettable using AI?
So again, once you've determined who your client is, who's the person that you are that you're selling to, who's going to be interested in your product, you make it unforgettable by addressing, there's a set of pain points that in marketing that they teach you. I'll give you an example. You start with a hook. You say, 97% of people are doing this wrong. And hey, listen, I may be part of that 97. Let me watch and see. You introduce curiosity, and then you show them what a better way is. The another way that you can hack all of that though is humor. If you have a commercial or you have an advertisement that is funny, you can skip a lot of the marketing steps because people want to be happy. People want to smile. So if you're offering a service that they are thinking about needing or they're thinking about utilizing and you make them laugh, you've just won them over. So there are multiple ways to be a successful marketer and to use AI for that. I do have like a custom chat GP, I have a custom GPT that I can say, hey, I want a funny ad. And it can be for something really serious. I've done funny ads for chiropractors and they get and they get people in it. And it sounds like such a boring or a normal industry, but you can find humor everywhere. Also, tax services. Tax time is always fun because I have these crazy ads for the tax preparers that are very, very effective because they take people straight into that feel good and oh yeah, I do need my taxes done. Let me reach out to them.
All right, that's all right. Um, is there an age that you should go into using IA, or is there an age that you should not go into using AI?
Every age. Every age. Every age is going to need AI because we can all use it for different things. I mean, I don't work, AI is not a doctor and things like that, but I have seen people type in, hey, I've been to 5 doctors and they're telling me everything is fine. These are my symptoms, this is what's going on. What are your thoughts? And AI has given them a different list or a different set of things that it's identified with its criteria that could be an issue. And then they go get tested for it, and it's one of those. And then they're able to get treatment. They're able to have that relief of knowing exactly what it is that's going on with them that they weren't able to get from the other doctors that they went to. That, had they kept going to different doctors, insurance may have stopped paying for it. They would have had to come out of pocket. There have been a lot of positive use cases for AI and for learning how to use it. And I think that it is going to be so ingrained in everybody's life that everybody needs to have an idea of what it is and what it can do for them, even if it's just how to turn it off. For example, Kevin, if you don't want to have Copilot on your phone where it's giving you those auto suggestions, you should know how to go into your computer system settings and turn it off so that's not an issue for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I
So,
understand. All
so I
right.
would say, yeah, all ages, definitely.
All right. Miss McMillan, DMAC, as I confidently called you earlier, you've given us a lot of information. I want to make sure that for our listeners, I do not shortcut you in any way. Is there anything that I have missed or conversation that we should be having that you would like to share with our viewing audience, our listening audience also?
Not that I can think of specifically. I just find it super important that we get our word out there, we get our message out there. Our voices are important, our voices matter. And so anybody who's trying to balance creative storytelling, authenticity, and automation, I would just encourage you to reach out and let's get a brand plan and a content strategy for you.
All right. And so I will tell you, Talking Wit Kevin and Son is my version of DEI. The whole purpose of me doing this show is to provide a platform for people that you should know that normally won't show up on Good Morning America or some of these national television shows because their brand or their voice or their face is not well known. I've had the honor and privilege in order to have Denise McMillan on the show to explain to our listeners and simplify it in a way that we understand. I know there's a cultural divide when it comes to education, but I also know the power of education, and it doesn't have a gender bias. It doesn't have a color bias. It doesn't have economic limitations. The only limitations it has is the person willing to act now or later. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Ms. McMillan, if you had, or if I were to ask you without using AI, and I'm going to peel back the layer. I want to make sure that everyone understands. I am talking to a real person, not an AI. Am I correct?
This is a real person, yes.
All right, I just want to make sure because I had a personal question to
Call me
ask you
off.
just in case you were AI. I was going to test you because I got some secrets about you don't even know. All right, okay, I did my
I
did my
believe you.
homework. All right, so but I want to say this because you're a very dynamic young lady or woman. I don't know what the politically correct answer is, but I'm telling you, I'm impressed with you. I have created a list of 100 people with their secrets to their success. I'm not talking about their bank accounts. I am talking about successful people that are making a difference and bringing someone else up in the world. If you were to tell me your 3 to 10, I don't know how many secrets you have, your daily habits, whatever, what are the keys or the secrets to your success and what makes you so outstanding in your space?
Sure. I think the first thing is going to be a natural curiosity. I'm like a kid when it comes to learning things. I like to soak things up. I just want to know more, know more, know more. And that's what gave me the ability to even learn what I excelled in, what I was good at, and what I enjoy doing. Knowing what you enjoy doing, knowing how you can help other people just changes the whole, trajectory. I mean, I wrote a book, How to Break into IT. So I have mentees that come and I coach them how to get into the industry because this is our gold rush. So that's one of them, that natural curiosity. The second one I would say is being organized, being able to say, okay, this is what it is that I want to do. This is what I'm throwing my energy, I'm throwing my weight behind. This is what matters to me in this moment. You have to have a level of being decisive, being sure of who you are, what you are, and what it is that you want to do to be able to confidently throw yourself, your energy, your weight behind whatever it is that you want to do. And the third thing that I would say is trusting your intuition, trusting yourself, trusting what it is that God has put into you to lead you and help to direct and guide the way. A lot of times we spend too much of our energy and consideration on what other people think that we should do, on what other people who they think that we should be. And we have to check in with and trust ourselves.
All right. I want to thank you for giving us that share. And I hope our listeners are listening, the people that view us on YouTube. I want to thank you for coming in, the people that listens to us on your favorite podcast networks, no matter where it is, where everywhere. I want to thank you for listening to this interview. And I hope that the conversation that we have lands on you in a certain way that you take action on taking control of yourself. There's nothing wrong with working for someone else, but remember, at the end of the day, your name is not on that sign. And the only way that you have power over your destiny, if you take the steering wheel in your own hand and you guide yourself into where you want to go. Because I know right now you're where you need to be, but a lot of us is not where we want to be. But this conversation we have using the tools and the power of AI will help get you there. So, anything that you want to leave with our audience before we sign off?
I, no, thank you so much for listening to, my stories about AI. I'm interested in continuing this conversation more. There's so many aspects to it. There's so many aspects to amplifying, your voice, your brand, and moving from what you can do on your own to what you can do with the support of a humongous network of AI and different things that you can do and use. So thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you inviting me to be on the show.
No problem. There's always going to be an open seat. You're welcome to come back anytime. If you have something you want to add, something you want to share, you have my direct contact number. You have my direct email number. Just reach out to say, Kev, can we do part two? And this is where we'll go with it, and we'll do that. I want to thank my listeners. I want to thank my followers. You know how I feel about sharing, subscribing, whatever. And you can correct me on this because I always say, I'm probably the only podcaster saying if you're not a person with a high call to action, all right, I reserve this space to follow, subscribe. You can comment all you want, but I reserve this space for people that have a high call to action. I'm probably the only podcaster out there that can say this with a great deal of confidence. I have changed the lives of 7 people that have been asked this one question. My friends do not drive by an accident, they stop to help. So if I were to ask Miss Denise McMillan if she had one ask, that means that she had one thing that she wanted to come true in her life or anyone else's life. What would that ask be? And that would be the last question I have for you. If you had one ask, DMAC, what would that ask be?
If I had one ask of one thing that I wanted to come true in my life,
Or your life or anyone else's life, whatever. You could be trying to save the world. You can bring peace. It's but just remember, make your ask big. because God, He only gives you what you ask for. So don't, He's got a sense of humor too. So if you ask for a seat to be with Oprah, and they put you in a chair behind her on stage, you got your dream to come true.
Right, right. I think my one ask would be that people would look for themselves, look within themselves, and honestly follow their own path. Trust in yourself and follow your own path because it will lead you way further than anybody else's path. There's only one you. You can only be yourself. I just want people to love each other and to accept who they are, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So if you like what you've heard, you can find us at RMK Productions and Network on our YouTube page. And you can see the podcast or this podcast or any place where you get your podcasts, your information, so forth. If you like to be a guest, at the end of every single show, there is a link that will attach us to info at RMK Productions and org, and you can fill in the guest requests, and we will be more than happy to welcome you on and have a conversation that we had with Miss McMillan. So, your story is your superpower. Your voice is your strategy. Your authenticity is your advantage. I want you to use your tools. Use the tools that have been shared with you today. Reach out to Miss McMillan and get into one of her classes. Make the investment because every entrepreneur knows the first dollar is spent is on education and coming up with a plan. Miss McMillan will help you with that plan. Elevate your message and step into the highest expression and let AI be your co-pilot, be your good friend. It's not going to dictate you. It's going to follow you where you need to go. It's going to be that business partner that won't let you down. My grandfather always said, when you get to a place in life that you can help someone else out, he said, it is your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, we'll fade to black and we're out. Thank you, Miss Denise McMillan.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the